Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for a special Cartoon Connoisseur Theater podcast where we are going to be talking about Green Lantern. Whatever that exactly means, I'm not really sure, but I'm sure it will be super duper.
All right, everyone, and thank you, Frederick, for that epic intro. I need to give him more food, I guess. Remind me to do that later on, guys. All right, so anyways, as you heard, we are doing a very special podcast, and we're going to be talking about something I don't think a lot of cartoon podcasts actually talk about, and that is Green Lantern. The reason this came out is because recently... because of my special guest here from the 52 Now, I've actually been going through my DC animated collection, and I just happened to stumble upon my collection of the Green Lantern series, and I started watching again, and I really, really enjoyed it again. And so I really wanted to talk about Green Lantern. Now, my love for Green Lantern came from Jeff Johns' writing. I started reading Rebirth, and then going on to Wanted Hal Jordan, and then even a little bit of Blackest Night, Sinestro Corps War, and all that stuff. So I really, really enjoy Green Lantern. So to help me talk a little bit about this, I have brought in some exploits, and these exploits from the 52 Now. Gentlemen, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Exploits sounds naughty.
No, exploits. Experts.
I think you put the wrong emphasis on the
I'm sorry.
wrong syllable.
Just introduce yourselves. Introduce yourselves.
Okay, well, I'm Andrew with the 52 Now, and of course, I am the co-host of...
The co-host of the 52 Now?
I'm your co-host.
You are my co-host. Podcast Pasco, a.k.a. Dave, a.k.a. Podcast Pasco. From the 52 Now.
Sweet.
We're on ZowieKapowie.com.
Awesome.
Can you spell that again for me?
Zowie, as in Z, Owie,
Zowie.
K, Powie.
That works for me.
There we go. All right, so we're here to talk a little bit about Green Lantern.
By the way, this microphone smells like bacon bits. I just want to eat it up with some ranch and some cucumbers.
Okay. Thank you for that input, I think.
You're welcome, world.
What does that have to do with Green Lantern exactly?
Cucumbers are green. Salad's
Okay.
green.
I have nothing to add to that.
It's late.
Do you want to, Dave, talk a little bit about the history of Green Lantern?
I do get... I won't talk about... We'll talk about... Not so much the character's been around a long time, has been reinvented a bunch of times. Yeah. With a bunch of different characters. I will do the unfortunate task of talking about why modern Green Lantern has kind of come to the forefront, and like you said, unfortunately hasn't been really covered by a lot of mainstream media, and that is solely on the back of Ryan Reynolds. No, 2000. No, it has nothing to do with him. The 2008 movie. No, it was 2011 movie.
Yes.
Was supposed to be the next big franchise after Batman. They were supposed to do Green Lantern, and he was everywhere. I would say like 3 years prior, building up to it, and then definitely the cartoon series, the standalone Green Lantern series. We got on Cartoon Network.
Mm-hmm.
Was a direct effect of that synergy that Warner Brothers wanted to be. Because that was a movie that came... Before it even came out, they're like, we're going to do a trilogy. Like, they knew right away that this was going to be a big franchise. Obviously, that did not happen.
No.
Not saying the movie was... The only reason the movie was bad is because we knew who Green Lantern was before we went to the movies. If you had no idea about anything about Green Lantern...
Well, we did. Nerds did. I wouldn't say that mainstream audiences did. I think more than anything, the reason why it did bad was because there were a lot of a lot of hands in the pot, so to speak.
Yeah, kind of like a Spider-Man 3 kind of thing with all the different...
Well, there was... Because
Please don't get him started.
Please don't start on Spider-Man 3.
We won't go on Spider-Man 3.
That was just an example.
But the problem was that I think Warner Brothers and DC got a little too excited. They wanted to. That was going to be the beginning of their own cinematic universe, I think, was the plan, because Marvel had already gotten started with that, with Iron Man 1 and 2, Hulk, Captain America, Thor, all that jazz. And they even, like, the animated series was, and I've said this before on, I think, a couple of podcasts. I'm not trying to, like, toot my own horn or anything, but I actually, when I was living in L.A., I was friends with a man named Jim Creek, who ended up being one. His name was Jim Creek. He ended up being one of the executive producers and head writers for Green Lantern, the animated series. And so he was telling me all about this long before it ever came out, and he was like, don't tell anybody. You can't tell anybody this, what I just told you for 6 months, which was very annoying, very frustrating. But it was a lot of fun to, like, know some of these things ahead of time. It was really cool. But essentially, what they did with the movie and the show is what they did with the original 89 Batman and the animated series, which was they were making the film, and they knew they wanted to have an animated series to capitalize on the film and that film's toy sales and create more toy sales with the show, and that worked brilliantly. The show had nothing to do with the movie whatsoever except for the theme song, and it actually spawned off several spin-offs, as we all know, and it did great. They wanted to recreate that same process with Green Lantern by putting out the movie. Before the movie was put out, they commissioned an animated series. Jim got to work with Bruce Timm and a couple other folks on that. And the movie did not do well. Martin Campbell, who directed, what did he direct, Dave? He directed Casino Royale and GoldenEye, I think?
Yeah.
He was set to direct. For whatever reason, the movie just didn't do well. I think it was just a lot of people were involved, and there was a lot of rewrites and things like that. And as a result, the toy sales for the movie did not do well. And because of that, even though the show had already been made about maybe a season or two, it didn't last. It got canceled.
It goes back to Bruce Timm always saying that the audience that a lot of the cartoon shows look for are the 7 to 11-year-olds. Mm-hmm. And it's for toy sales, it's for merchandise sales.
Yes.
And they don't care how many grown-ass men like us love it and follow it and think it's a smart and clever and well-produced show. Mm-hmm. It unfortunately hit in that demographic where they couldn't reel it back in and be like, they couldn't rebrand it to sell it to the demographic they were searching for.
And also at the time, I think Cartoon Network, and you can kind of turn on Cartoon Network now, it's nothing like what it was 15 years ago.
I totally agree.
It's now what they're going for is less dramatic shows, more new programs. You don't see any classic cartoons on.
Is there a superhero show on Cartoon Network right
Teen
now?
Titans Go.
Teen Titans
Yeah. Go. Oh, I mean, no. Yeah. Oh, I'm mixed feelings about that one.
Shut up. But anyway, so along with Young Justice, which was another wonderful show that also got canceled because no toy sales, which was really the fault of Cartoon Network and Warner Bros. Because they didn't advertise them. They wanted to go with more basically stupid humor shows for kids, kind of like Ren and Stimpy and Rocko's Modern Life. There's always been shows like that. Cartoon Network wanted to bank on that and that alone, as does Disney XD now. That's all you see now on Nickelodeon, Disney XD.
Yes, I agree.
And it's a sad case, but kids love it. My niece loves it, and that's just kind of what happened there.
But Green Lantern had a history prior. Uber Nerd, I know you are excited to talk about some of the writing, especially New 52.
Right.
Actually, pre-52, the work that Jeff Johns did.
Yes, I think that Jeff Johns is probably, in my opinion, Jeff Johns is probably the best writer of Green Lantern. I think he really gets the character. He loves Sinestro and Hal. They're definitely characters that he loves the most, and he knows how to write them perfectly. And I mean, even I was actually watching a lot of the special features for Green Lantern before doing the podcast, and one of the things he said was when he got on to Green Lantern wasn't selling at all. Like, they had killed off Hal Jordan. They took the core out.
Yeah.
It was just one person. It was Kyle Rayner, I believe, right?
One man.
One
mission. One ring. All lantern.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just Kyle Rayner, and he was the only person, and so Hal was the Spectre now at that time,
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he was the
first
Spectre.
He became a villain.
Right. He
Went
became
crazy,
Parallax.
became Parallax, and then died and came back in the afterlife as Spectre.
Right.
Which is a classic DC character.
Right.
What? That was the '90s for you, man.
Yeah.
That was
weird.
It was, I think, the last big Green Lantern they did before the New 52 arc that you're talking about. Jeff Johns took over the title. Was Blackest Night.
Yeah.
Was
Yes.
the biggest Lantern title Lantern event they had for years.
Yeah, but they set it up for a long time, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Really
Yes,
set
they
it up.
did.
They set it up all the way back in Rebirth.
Yeah.
Green Lantern Rebirth, they set it up. There was like little hints here and there about what was going to happen and stuff like that. So yes, they set it up a long time before that. And that was before I think even the book started selling a lot because of Jeff Johns' writing.
And that was the time too when that event happened. We had a lot of the Lantern characters. Hal Jordan was in the book, which was really and it was like you said after Rebirth. Mm-hmm. But we had Kyle Rayner.
We had Kyle Rayner,
Jon Stewart
Jon Stewart.
of the Daily Show.
Yeah,
It was
that's the one.
amazing.
They make that joke.
They do
in
make
the-
that joke in the
animated
animated
series.
series. It was great.
Nerds.
The fake news guy?
We have my favorite, Guy Gardner.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Kilowog.
Yeah,
Or
Kilowatt.
Chip.
No.
Can I just
Badge.
say?
Badge.
Can I just say that my favorite is Hal Jordan, only written by Jeff Johns, but I think I also like Hal Jordan a little selfishly because he has my same last name.
Who's your favorite? Who do you back?
Now you're going to have a lot of stalkers.
And he's
Do you back Hal? Is Hal's your favorite?
Hal's not my favorite. I actually I love Jon Stewart because of Justice League Unlimited.
Yes.
But one of my personal favorites is Jade, who is the daughter of Alan Scott, the original Green Lantern.
oh yes, yeah. I know who you're talking
And she actually had what was the name of the power? It
about.
was-
Ion, I believe.
No, not Ion. That was Kyle later on.
Okay.
No, it was the Star Brand or something like that. It was a specific form. It was a specific form of the Green Lantern energy. It was like super concentrated, and because like her father, who had a Green Lantern ring, like when she was born, it was coursing through her system. She had green skin and was basically a living Green Lantern battery.
She was the daughter of who?
Alan Scott,
Alan Scott's the original JSA
Green Lantern. Yeah.
that you could kill with the number 2 pencil.
That's right.
It was yellow and wood.
Yellow and wood, and
Well,
he
that
didn't have
was-
any green in his costume.
that
He had
was-
like 2% green. The rest of it was red and purple and yellow.
Was it that-
he was blonde and he had the cape.
Yeah, and I
Yes.
think he had hammer pants on as well.
they even make reference to him in the animated series. If you remember that correctly, there was an episode called Steam Lantern, and that's when they had
Green
the
Lantern, the
steampunk-
animated series,
yeah. They talked about him because he was in that alternate universe.
Was he the Steam Lantern? Was that Alan
No.
Scott? Oh,
No. It wasn't Steam Lantern. I forgot the guy's name who was Steam
It was
Lantern.
Chip Whitley or something.
Something like that.
I made that up, by the way. That's like a Conan O'Brien joke.
I guess. But he said that he designed his costume after the original Green Lantern, which he said was Alan Scott.
Oh,
Yeah.
fancy pants.
Yeah.
So your favorite is
I like Jade.
So Jade's your answer.
Well, I read Outsiders, the comic book Outsiders for a while, and she was a big part of that. And I had like Nightwing and Arsenal and a bunch of characters like that. And to me, she was really awesome. She was originally known as Kyle Rayner's girlfriend, but it was like she was more than Alan Scott's daughter and Kyle Rayner's girlfriend. She was a hero in her own right. So yeah, I like Jade a lot. She's also a JLA member at one point.
Sweet.
I am torn on my favorite. There's two.
Chip and Badge.
Chip and Badge.
I get those. Is that bad that I get the two of them mixed up?
Chip
is
is
that
the-
kind of racist?
Chip is the squirrel, right?
I think Chip's the squirrel and Bid.
Well, you guys.
Badge is kind of a squirrel too.
Okay, if we're doing obscure Green Lanterns, there's 3, but Guy Gardner is my favorite, and I'll tell you
Is
why.
it because of his wonderful haircut?
It's not because of that at all. It's from Justice League International, the '80s run,
Of course.
and
You like him because of what happened to him.
yes, and it's not even what happens to him or who does it to him. It's Blue Beetle's reaction to the situation is the fun. If anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, go read just the original.
If you don't know what
Volume
we're talking
1.
about, you're listening
You're
to the
listening
wrong
on
podcast.
Also Sinestro, but Sinestro I like as a villain.
Yeah, Sinestro I like pretty much as a villain. I do like that he starts off as a Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And
The,
then
the thing
later
is,
on-
he's not that villainous. His intents are. He's a well thought out. He's
Well, I kind of always thought of him as Space Hitler.
Wow.
Okay, and
I know but
that went there.
that was no, I'm not trying to.
Wait, you hear that?
Is it too
iTunes
soon?
just took
Oh
us
my
off
God.
the air. iTunes just deleted us.
Wait,
We're like,
wait.
nope.
Okay, Cartoon Connoisseur is explicit, right? 'Cause-
No.
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
So no,
but,
more.
but I
weird-
think even Guy Gardner made that comparison in the story where he was saying that basically Sinestro turned the Green Lantern logo. There was a bit of conversation where he said he turned our logo into the swastika, into a space. Like the idea is that yes, he was kind of that guy. He became what Adolf Hitler became on Earth.
I see what you're saying. Actually, I
Not
do.
necessarily.
You're going on a deep. This is Cartoon Connoisseur. This is not the 52 Now, where we talk about such things as Batgirl covers and.
That was
and
you, my
that
friend.
was.
You
so,
were raging on.
The other one I was going to mention, lighter subject, is Mongo.
Mogo.
Mogo.
Mogo is the giant gingerbread man
yeah.
from Shrek 2. And I can reference that because that's a cartoon movie, sir.
There you go.
But
Mogo.
no, Mogo, who was
Mogo's
created
awesome.
by Alan Moore. I believe it was created by
I
Alan
think
Moore.
it sounds like an Alan Moore creation because
Yeah.
he's so obscure and out there.
He is, and he's in his standalone comic. Wow, that was a lot of vowel sounds.
How great
Is
would it
that-
have been to have like Swamp Thing, Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, and Alan Moore's Mogo team up?
That would be
It would be-
awesome.
How insane would
He
that
just
be?
lives on him and protects him.
And and
But
merges with them?
if you have to read a comic that Alan Moore did to introduce the character, is called Mogo Doesn't Socialize.
Yes.
It's about a bounty hunter that goes to the planet to call out Mogo and doesn't realize Mogo is, if anyone doesn't know this, is a planet that's a Green Lantern.
Yes.
He's a sentient planet.
Wait, now that was the original story?
Yes.
Yes, that's the original story.
Wasn't that sort of done on the show?
It was.
It probably was, yeah.
No, well, okay.
Warner Brothers loves sneaking Alan Moore because Alan, the way
I
Alan
think
Moore
is it a middle finger to Alan Moore, basically?
I think they're like, hey, Alan, you want to comment about this? Because the second episode of Justice League Unlimited,
Yeah,
is-
for the man who has everything.
yeah,
Superman annual number something or other.
I know we're close talking to this mic. I kind of want to hug you right now because you pulled that out like that, razor sharp.
I love
razor
that
sharp.
story.
You're
Yeah,
a good
it's, good,
co-host.
it's a good story.
Thank you. That's the only time he will ever say that to me.
No, what you're thinking of is
This
we'll
is
talk
a very abusive relationship. It's like a Lifetime made-for-television movie.
All
He's
right,
abusive,
all right.
and then he offers me nice things and gives me back rubs, and then yells at me again.
All right. What you're thinking of, and we'll talk a little bit more about this later, is the direct-to-DVD movie Emerald Knights has that exact story.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That has what? That's for
Oh,
you.
you
Ed.
haven't seen it, have you?
Not yet, but we're about to talk about that.
Yeah,
Yay.
and
Let's talk a little.
Yeah, let's do it.
Talk
Let's
a
go.
little bit about the history. Sorry, I was off the mic.
Yeah,
a little
there's,
bit.
uh,
Let's talk about the history of Green
Stay on the mic,
Lantern
Dave.
on in cartoons. I know we got. So is Super Friends is
he was just on Super Friends. That's
Super
the only
Friends,
thing.
He was like, Hal Jordan Green Lantern on Super Friends was a lot like the white people on Soul Train. He was in the background dancing by the staircase.
Oh, this is going south fast.
That's basically what he was. It's like it was always Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, the Wonder Twins, and Gleek. And then Green Lantern's like, I'm here, and the adventure was over whenever he showed up.
Yeah,
Wait.
but
he got second billing after the monkey?
oh,
Pretty sure, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, poor Hal, man.
Was it
Poor
Hal Jordan?
He was
Yes,
Hal
it was
Jordan.
Hal
It
Jordan.
was.
They wouldn't allow Jon Stewart at that point.
Wow.
That was the role
Whoa.
of Black Lightning. It was only one. They can only allow one person of each race.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
No,
all
but
right, all right,
that
makes
was
sense.
what
That-
Super Friends did in its like second or third season.
And then Saban years later was like, that was a good idea.
Oh god.
I have an idea for a television show. Okay.
And we'll make Trini the Yellow Ranger.
But I will have
the
to.
Black Ranger. We'll make Tommy the White Ranger.
I will have to say though, the Green Lantern noise when he made like constructs and stuff, the power noise, that's been used in pretty much every single Green Lantern.
It's like
Yeah,
some
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of weird like
Yeah, it's been used in every single Green Lantern animated whatever.
It's been used in
like-
every single Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Yeah,
right?
pretty much. Yeah.
Thundar the Barbarian, he pulled out a sword. It made the exact same noise. It was really strange.
All right.
Not clang. It was. It was like, wow.
All right. So I guess the next one would be, of course, Green Lantern and the Timverse.
Which was John Stewart?
Okay, actually, no. I actually know this answer. The first Green Lantern that showed up was Kyle Rayner.
Rayner, yeah.
And he showed up in an episode.
Superman the animated
That just
series.
sounds like
Superman the animated
Bruce.
series.
Bruce
Titled In Brightest Day.
Right. Very good.
That just sounds like Bruce Timm messing with people.
And-
They're like, is it Hal? Is it John? He's like, it's Kyle. And they're like,
To mess with
what?
them even more. And the reason why the folks at WB did not want Hal Jordan. They wanted Kyle because at the time, Kyle was the current Green Lantern in
Yes.
the comics. So what Bruce Timm did is and whoever was writing the episode, they basically made the character as Hal Jordan-esque as possible. But they said, oh, it's Kyle Rayner. He just happened to look like Hal and had the same type of attitude, but he was still an artist. He was an artist at the Daily Planet.
Yes, he
which
did
I thought
comics
was
and
kind
stuff,
of a
which
neat
was neat.
little
It was neat.
correlation.
Yeah.
Also, there's a scene where he's fighting Sinestro. By the way, Sinestro in that universe is awesome because his first appearance, he's not goofy like his Super Friends appearance. You know, he doesn't have a giant forehead. He looks like a menacing threat, and he takes on Superman and beats the mess out of Superman. The only way Superman wins the fight is by Kyle coming in and saving the day,
Right.
and accepting his fate as a Green Lantern. But there's a scene where they're fighting, and either Sinestro knocks Superman or he knocks Kyle into like a hangar, an airplane hangar, and the camera pans past a jet, and the jet, you know how jets have sometimes the name of
Yes,
a pilot
yes.
on the side, and it had like Colonel Hal Jordan on the side. So that
Oh,
was like Hal's
cool.
little cameo was right there. And Hal never showed up in the Timverse again until
Batman until
Nope.
Justice League Unlimited.
that's right.
Okay, yeah,
It
Justice
was
League Unlimited.
what was the name of that episode? It was a two-part time.
It
travel
was
episode.
a future.
It was a future and it was a time travel thing with Kronos the villain. And
A
what-
once and future thing. A once and future thing. Yeah, and because that had Batman Beyond.
And what
all that
happened
stuff.
was time was being messed up with so much that there were alternate timelines flipping about everywhere. And Green Lantern, John Stewart, gets phases out, and in phases Hal Jordan Green Lantern.
Who is voiced by Adam Baldwin,
Baldwin,
from
Firefly
Firefly.
and Serenity,
Yeah.
And then he phases back out into John Stewart. So that's the one time you get Hal Jordan. And he looked like classic Hal Jordan, uniform and
And
everything.
I love-
White valet gloves and everything.
Yeah, I love his line too. It's like, yeah, I'm up to speed. Just keep going.
And then he changes back.
And then he
One of the
changes
characters
back.
is
He's like,
like,
he's good.
make up
good.
your mind.
I think one of the characters was said
I
that.
think it was
right?
Static.
Yeah, well, yeah. Make up your mind. Yeah.
But great story, great episode.
And in fact, going on with that, Batman Beyond had an extra Green Lantern that they made just for the Batman Beyond universe, which was I don't even know the kid's name.
I don't know his name, but it was this Asian kid
Yes.
who never. He always sat Indian style and just floated around
Yes.
and created constructs. Like I think they were the idea is that he was a sort of a Buddhist monk type mentality.
Right.
it sounds like they were pissing off Alan Moore again. They're like, hey, look, we can do Dr. Manhattan, but now he's green
And he's a kid. I don't know why I
boy.
did Kermit the Frog just then, but because he's green. What if Kermit the Frog became a Green Lantern?
I think somebody did.
In brightest day,
In brightest
blackest
day.
night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who
Worship evil's light.
those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light. Yeah.
Now
I'm glad that's how you decided to bring the oath to this podcast.
I knew the oath was
Is
gonna
doing-
come.
is doing-
I didn't
I didn't know it was coming as Kermit.
Kermit the Frog. Yeah. All right.
You're welcome.
Let's let's move on.
But also there was. Did we mention Kilowog?
I'm just thinking about Animal being
Kilowog
a
wasn't
Red
in the
Lantern.
Timverse, I don't think.
No, Kilowog was totally in the Timverse.
Yeah.
He showed up in Justice League.
Unlimited?
Oh yes, he was. Okay, yes. I'm sorry. Yes, I done forgot. Yeah, go
He's
ahead.
John Stewart's buddy in that show. and
Yes.
He's awesome.
And who was the girl Green Lantern? That John. That
You've
they
been
teased-
Zalpowed.
That they teased
That
had a
is not
relationship
becoming
with
a
John Stewart.
phrase. That's not becoming a thing.
Anyways, I
at
don't
all.
remember. If you
Hot
guys
question
remember,
I can deal with. You've been Zalpout is not happening. This crossover I will turn this crossover around if that kind of behavior continues.
all right.
Kermit the Frog doing the oath is fine. You've been Zalpout, not okay, sir. Go to your room.
Okay, all right, we've been derailed, so let's get back on the track here. So after the Timverse, I don't think Green Lantern ever showed up until Batman: Brave and the Bold, right?
Right.
Yes, and it wasn't. Excuse me, sir. I'm gonna butt in here because I obviously don't have the culture of Green Lantern that You guys do.
Come get cultured, sir. Come on.
The Green Lantern that they primarily used in the show was Guy Gardner.
Yes.
Yes.
He
Yes.
was the Green Lantern in Brave and the Bold, which was awesome because he brought a lot of comic relief to the shows because he was the angry ginger red hothead that was like
And Batman
looking for a
punched him.
fight type thing.
And Batman punched him real hard. That was hilarious.
Actually, that's what my reference was back to Justice League. That was a callback to Justice League International, the Volume 1, where the first issue, Batman knocks him out with one punch, and Blue Beetle is like crying, laughing in the background, which is so classic. But they did use Hal Jordan in it briefly.
They had an episode where Hal Jordan was the main guest star hero, and the villain was Star Sapphire. And Hal Jordan was voiced by, I cannot remember the name of the actor, but he's voiced by the same actor who voiced Dick Grayson on Batman the Animated Series.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was like the first time he came back to like to anything
Right.
DC animated. I think.
And Guy Gardner was voiced by another one of my favorite voice actors, which was Jason Arnold Taylor. I don't know if any of you guys out there have seen Jason Arnold Taylor, but
Is he Obi-Wan Kenobi?
yes, he is. He is. The
And
voice
he's
of
also,
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I heard him at a cartoon panel in San Diego years ago. He's not only Obi-Wan,
Right.
and this blew me, because I heard him do Obi-Wan, and it sounds like crystal. Like, it sounds so perfect and clear. He's also the official voice of Fred Flintstone.
Yes, he is.
And to hear him go from, and within seconds, go from Obi-Wan to Fred Flintstone, it's astronomically crazy how different he sounds.
I don't know if you've been to Star Wars weekends or not here in Florida, but he usually comes every year, and he does this show called Obi-Wan and Beyond, and he talks about being a voice actor. And there's a part in the show where he actually does, I believe, 100 voices, and he does like 100 different voices all in the same time, all at the same time, and it's just he goes from one voice to another, and it's just crazy. He also voiced Johnny. He voiced Captain Jack Sparrow in Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, okay.
He does this amazing part in the show where he actually does both parts of both Doc and Marty McFly in Back to the Future. And it's just crazy how he can do that. But
Who is he in terms of Green Lantern? I'm curious, because you were about to say, and then you went ... and then just went into
what, Jason Arnold Taylor?
Yeah, what did he do?
He did Guy Gardner.
Oh my
in
gosh,
Brave
that's
and the
Guy
Bold.
Gardner. Oh my god,
Yeah,
that
he
is
did Guy Gardner.
Oh my god, that's James. That's
Yeah.
crazy. You know what else we forgot to mention?
What did we forget to mention?
Fellas, we forgot to mention the appearance of Green Lantern on Duck Dodgers
Oh,
of the 21st and a half century. Do you remember that? Did you see that?
Yes.
I'll tell you what. I do remember when that came out. And what was Daffy became the Green Lantern?
The Green Lantern.
You can play as him in Lego Batman 3,
right.
which is genius.
Wait, because it was because he and Hal Jordan went to the same laundromat, and they got their clothes mixed up. So he got the Duck Dodgers outfit. He got
Hal Jordan just sums it. Ryan Reynolds lied to me if he's washing that suit.
and he actually.
I know, right?
Never quote that movie again.
Never. Okay.
Now, wait. Here's an interesting factoid.
Okay.
Can either of you tell me who voiced Hal Jordan at the end? He had like one or two lines. Who voiced Hal Jordan at the end of that Duck Dodgers episode?
I don't know.
Kevin Smith.
Was it?
Really?
Kevin
Oh,
Smith.
that's
Kevin
awesome.
Smith doesn't come
have
to
to
my
rewatch
mind as a Hal Jordan. I thought you were like Nathan Fillion.
Well, actually, that segues perfectly on to what we're going to talk about next, because I first saw that episode on the special edition of Green Lantern First Flight. They have that episode on there.
Well, let's backtrack just a year.
Yeah.
Year before that was the adaptation of Darwin Cook's New Frontier.
New Frontier. Yep.
And Darwin Cook, this was his first book that was adapted into animation,
Yes.
which was interesting because Darwin Cook got his start working for Bruce Timm, working on Batman Beyond. It was kind of cool. We saw him in a panel, and he spoke about transitioning from animation and then doing written work back into animation. And
he's both a writer and an artist, I believe, right?
yes,
Yeah.
he's amazing.
I think New Frontier was all him. Art.
It was all him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
definitely his stuff.
Wow, that's awesome.
But New Frontier, the reason we're bringing it up is if you watch that animated feature, it's very heavy Green Lantern.
Yes, it is.
I know a lot of people that I sat down and watched it with were like, I didn't know that about Green Lantern.
Yeah, it was his whole origin story. I
It was
believe.
basically his. Yeah. He had the origin story in that.
It was weaved
feature.
in there.
Yeah, it was weaved in there. I would say him and Martian Manhunter were the only two that they were like. Everyone else was already established.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
And
Flash
those
was
two-
established.
Flash was-
and
and
then
then
Wonderland.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So, and they do his origin, and he's a big part of that too, because he's like saves the day.
And he's and the funny thing is that as he said, he didn't become Green Lantern until like the climax of the story.
Right.
I think. And do any of you guys remember who voiced him?
Yes. I can't remember his name. I know he was an angel.
Oh,
I can't
David
remember-
Borealis.
David Borealis.
Who
Yes.
di- and look, nothing against him as an actor, but I felt like he did not do that great of a job. I don't know if it was necessarily the direction. Usually, Andrea Romano, I think, was the casting director.
Yes,
on that.
she's
Yeah.
she's the voice director on all the director
She's
DVDs.
amazing, fantastic, because they get the best voice actors for all these characters.
Yes,
for
they
all
do.
These different versions. But one of the things I felt like this was a miss. I felt like he was not the best choice for
Well,
this.
if you look
It
at
felt very flat.
the New Frontier series in general is based on the Atomic Age,
Right.
1940s, 1950s, post WW2.
Mm-hmm.
So I think some of the actors took liberties in said way of being a little bit campier, more like radio show announcer type thing.
Yeah.
And maybe he just didn't get those cues right. I would have to go back and listen to it. That doesn't stand out to me.
I just felt like everybody was great. Neil Patrick Harris as the Flash was great.
Yes.
I forget the name of the actor. I know who the actor is. I forget his name. Who did Batman? He was great. Everybody I felt like nailed their roles. I just felt like David Borealis or Boreanaz?
I think it's
Borealis.
Yeah, Borealis.
He's currently on Bones, if you've ever seen Bones.
Yes.
And I think he's a great actor. I feel as though he was very monotone in the role, and I was wondering why is that the case? And I don't know. I just felt like he wasn't the best choice for Hal at the time.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I haven't watched it in a long time, so I'll have to watch it again and get back to you guys on it.
So we'll
but-
get back to you.
Yeah.
So that was 2008.
Yeah.
The next year was First Flight.
Not
So
my
good.
favorite. Not my favorite.
I loved it.
I think the only thing I didn't like about it really was how short it was. I thought they could have made it a little bit
Well,
longer.
and that was always the problem with the DC animated
Yes.
movies. Is
Yes,
that they
it
were
is.
always like about an hour and 15 minutes, something like that. I think the only one that did not do that went beyond that, was the two-part Dark Knight Returns.
Yes.
Which, if you watch it back to back, it's about 2.5 hours, something like that.
Yeah,
But
that's something I've always complained about the
But
DC ones.
that's
they're
how
just too short.
but that's generally how animation is. If you go back and look
Yeah.
at some of the older Disney animated films from back in the day, they weren't very long. They
No,
were about an
no.
hour, 10 hour, 15. Because animation is so expensive, it's very difficult to make an animated film more than an hour and a half. But that being said, I thought the storyline was great. I feel like they took it from Wizard Magazine. Remember Wizard Magazine from back in the day? Now it's just Wizard World conventions. But Wizard Magazine took the concept of the Ultimate Comics at Marvel and said, well, what if we did that with DC Comics? And so they got some really awesome artists to do their versions of certain characters as ultimate versions of them. And they did Green Lantern, and the story was John Stewart was the Green Lantern, the main Green Lantern, and it was Training Day with Sinestro and John. And it starts out with Sinestro training him and all that, and then he obviously John realizes that Sinestro's kind of a crooked cop kind of guy, and then they end up battling each other and so forth, so on. And that's where the story takes off. This is exactly that story, but with Hal Jordan instead of John Stewart. It starts off with Sinestro being the Lantern to train Hal, and of course, same exact storyline. Things don't go right, and
Right.
it turns out Sinestro's kind of Sinister.
Ha.
And then
I see what you did there.
yeah, thank you, sir. I'm glad you did.
Golf clap.
Golf clap. I was really hoping for an '80s clap.
All right.
But I loved the story. I love that concept, that take on the character. So
Right.
I really enjoyed it.
All right, voice cast. Victor Garber was Sinestro.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And he's the second half of Firestorm on The Flash, isn't
Yeah.
Dr. Martin Stein, I believe. I am such a nerd. I know
here's
too much
something.
of this.
Here's something where you that connects Green Lantern. Kurtwood Smith. He did Red in That 70s Show.
Who was he on the?
He played Kanjar Rowe.
Oh.
Yeah. He also played.
Did he tell him that he was going to shove his foot up Green Lantern's ass?
No.
Pardon my language, folks.
No. But I bet you you didn't know this. He was also in the animated series as well.
Who was he?
He played another Green Lantern, one of the first Green Lanterns they meet, the Frontier Lanterns they meet in the series.
You mean on
The
Justice
animated
League?
series. No, the animated series.
Green Lantern,
the animated series. He was also in Justice. He was also in the Timverse too. He did a couple of voices in the Timverse.
Of course, why not?
Yeah, but
who was he on Green Lantern animated series? Who was he
I
on Justice
forget
League?
the character's name.
Oh, you're real
but
helpful.
If you
You built this up, and he's like, he played a really important character.
Hold on.
And that name to be continued.
Dun, dun,
But
dun.
no. I'll set it up
Next
for you.
time.
If you watch the Green Lantern animated series, they have the Frontier Lanterns. They go out to go help the Frontier Lanterns. He's the first. Frontier Lantern that they meet. He.
You said this.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler. Okay.
He dies trying to save his people that are about to be destroyed on the
I
planet.
think I vaguely remember this.
Yes. He also played.
We don't know the character's name?
No. I'm trying to look it up, but
He's
I
not that
can't find
important,
it.
apparently.
No. He dies. He's important, but
I'm
names
trying to
aren't
look it
on
up. I'm looking up
Rose
on.
Bay, any other name.
He's Lantern.
At least has a
He's
name.
Lantern 30679.
I was trying to stall for time.
You're doing a great job.
We could do a commercial.
This episode of Cartoon Connoisseur is brought to you by
Stop it!
Gatorade.
Stop it now. We don't want to hear your creepy voice no more. Anyways, no, he played. He also played. Crap! Now I'm gonna have a hard time saying this. Maybe you guys would probably have a better time saying this guy's name. No.
Matt Boyle.
Not Matt Boyle.
Matt Damon?
No.
Matt
Damon! Do you want me to...
Yeah.
You want me to... Sheer Rev.
Rev. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He was the first.
I could be taking so many...
It could be.
It really could. I'm not going to go there.
It sounds like something that, like, if your car's not turning over.
It sounds like a women's razor, is what it sounds like. Today, you can use Sheer Rev. Give you the closest shave, the smoothest
All right, you
important.
clowns. No, but he was a good character.
so
I like
important.
But he also played
shave. Jesus?
no, James. He played James Gordon.
Jesus could be a Green Lantern. Jesus is probably a White Lantern.
No. He played
Red Lantern, man. Red Lantern.
you're not gonna let me finish this, are you?
Really? Jesus as an angry, rage, blood spewing.
Stop it. All right. He played James Gordon.
This is an explicit show, right? Just double checking.
We keep asking that. I don't think it's changing anytime soon.
He played James Gordon in Batman. Beware the Batman.
Oh, well, then nobody cares.
James Gordon, I thought, like, the guy that took over the Late Late Show.
No.
Oh.
Anyways, so
He was excellent in Into the Woods. So James Gordon, I
That
never
was
watched.
the only thing excellent in Into the Woods, apparently.
Okay, so what were we talking about?
all right, we were talking about first.
We are
Light.
tail spinning right now. We spent 15 minutes.
I
on
was trying to
Kurtwood
do a fun
Smith's
fact, and you
IMDb
guys messed me up.
profile.
I'm just gonna say that right now. You guys had one job.
Why is it our job all of a sudden?
All right.
So Emerald, that was First Light.
Right.
Emerald Knights came. How long was it between the two?
It was a while actually because Emerald Knight was supposed to come out just like
Around the time of the movie, right?
Right. It was supposed to be kind of like what Gotham Knights was supposed to be for.
It was, I think Gotham Knights was
Dark Knight.
Gotham Knights was a bridging story between Batman Begins and Dark Knight.
Right.
And Emerald Knights was supposed to be similar, but
it wasn't supposed to be a bridge. It was just supposed to capitalize on
Emerald Knights one story, or is it a bunch of small?
It's a bunch of small
stories.
Yes.
Really?
With one story that interlines through the whole thing.
And I think it's Hal Jordan narrating it, and
Yes.
the actor playing Hal Jordan at the time was Nathan Fillion. It's the first time Nathan Fillion took on that role, I think.
So Okay, now I'm interested. I've never seen it.
It's
Obviously. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your scathing reviews.
2.5 stars.
So it's 5. How many different stories? And it's different animation
I
studios.
believe it's
like
4 or 5.
And it's the same voice actor for every version of them.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, it's not. It's unlike Gotham Knights. It wasn't a different animation style every story. It was the same animation style through the whole thing. And
Boo earns. Sorry, that's one of the few things I like when they did Animatrix and Halo Legends, and they did. There's a Spartan Master Chief that fights a dinosaur.
that's pretty
Awesome. Anyways, I thought one of the key things of that is like different animation houses, different stories, different kind of look and feel to the story.
All new, all different?
All new, all
All
different.
new, all different.
Hal Jordan. So let's not confuse them, okay? We got Ryan Reynolds playing him. But they got ballsy enough. Can I say ballsy on this one? Yeah, ballsy.
You know what I thought was interesting, though, real quick? Ryan Reynolds and Nathan Fillion used to be on a TV show called together. It's called Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Shop.
Pizza place.
And a pizza place, something like that. And I just thought it was really interesting how they both went off into different directions, but they both became
They were the
Green
leads
Lantern.
in that?
Ryan Reynolds was the lead, along with the other guy and the girl. He was one of the two guys, and then Nathan Fillion was the girl's boyfriend, and he was a recurring. He was the main character eventually. Yeah.
2 hells, a ring, and a sector.
I'd watch it.
I'd watch it
on ABC.
just
on the CW.
stop it with the crazy voice. All right. Anyways, 5. It was 5 stories. The First Lantern, which talks about who the First Lantern actually was. Kilowog, obviously talking about Kilowog.
Who was voiced by? Who was Kilowog voiced by in this one? I know that Michael Madsen did him in First Flight.
Look it
which I
up.
thought
We
was
don't
cool.
have the time.
We really don't have the time. So
That's fine.
I'm
Whatever.
sorry. I keep asking questions.
No, that's
to
fine.
which
That's fine.
I already know the answer in the back of my brain.
Lyra was the next one. I actually liked that one. It was pretty cool.
Is that the chick in the white and the green? Never
No.
mind. Moving on.
Mogo doesn't socialize, which is basically which is basically a like
Your wife is gonna wake up.
yeah. And then lastly is Abin Sur, which talks about basically it's a story about Abin Sur and Sinestro's kind of relationship before Hal became.
Oh, so like before he just like, Hal, Jordan.
Yeah.
Like Abensar. Well, they put him in First Flight. First Flight, they had the opening with him. Though.
Yes.
Pretty
Yes.
epic.
Yes. But this was
Like he didn't just die immediately. Like
Right.
they're just like, we're gonna do an album, and they're like, okay, after those 3 minutes are up, what are we gonna do next?
Actually, I just thought of something too. Not only this was coming out before the movie came out. Not only that, because Blackest Night was also happening at the same time, and this was also setting up for Blackest Night too.
How'd they screw everything up?
I don't know.
Is that what we're about to talk to? Because I really think we need. I know we're getting to the main series,
Right.
The main event, the thing that
You all been waiting
love,
for.
yeah, the series that you both love so much. But there's so much synergy. We should all be
Wearing lantern rings.
yeah,
Okay.
which you both
I am, yeah.
And so is he.
Yeah. Well,
Did I miss the boat somewhere? Did I miss the
I think you
green and emerald? Like
You missed the boat a few
Let me tell you
a
something.
few months ago.
Green Lantern's never been one of my favorite characters. Hal Jordan's probably my least favorite. And I'll say it in front of you two.
That's fine.
Oh, don't attack me.
There's a lot of people who don't like Hal. The reason why Hal is the centerpiece of everything.
He's
is
so
because
vanilla.
It's because yeah, he is. But it's because Jeff Johns loves Hal. Before Jeff Johns came in and did his thing,
Yes,
Jon
I agree.
Stewart was becoming the centerpiece because of Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. kids were watching Justice League, and they were. I remember hearing. I think Denny was it Denny? No, it wasn't Denny O'Neil. It was Neil Adams on a podcast. He was talking about how.
Well, Denny O'Neil, Adams did
Green Lantern,
Green Arrow, which is epic, but that's a totally different kind
a
of.
couple years back, he was on a podcast, and he was talking about how kids would come up to him at conventions and ask him to draw for them Green Lantern. He'd start to draw how, and they're like, "That's not Green Lantern," and he was like, "Who do you think?" He's like, "John Stewart."
Who's this white guy?
Yeah, who's this white guy? I want the real Green Lantern, and that was what
do
it
you
was
think?
for a while.
Wait. Do you think that happens to when?
I don't know where you're
Don't
going.
give me that look, man.
I don't know where you're
Do you
going.
think that happens when Jim Steranko gets handed Nick Fury? They're like, draw Nick Fury, and they're like, who's this Hasselhoff-looking guy?
Wow.
I want Samuel L. Jackson. Is it like one of those things he was talking about?
I mean, that is what he's. I don't think did that happen to Jim Steranko?
I hope not.
I hope not.
I saw Jim Steranko smack a camera out of a dude's hand at a con.
All right.
It was epic. What were we talking about?
Okay.
We're talking about Green Lantern.
Okay, Jim Steranko.
Yeah.
No, okay.
But the thing about it is that I feel like Hal was forced down our throats again, and Hal is a great character. The fact that Jeff Johns brought him back with Rebirth, did everything he did with him in all the other storylines, it was wonderful. It was great. But I do feel like there was a disservice done to characters like Kyle and Jon Stewart, and I felt like it was Jon Stewart's time to be in the spotlight, and that was kind of taken away from that character. So, and honestly, there was too many cooks in the kitchen. That's really what happened with that movie. They bit off more than they could chew, and as a result, is the mess that we got.
Right.
And to a degree, I enjoyed the movie. To a degree. I felt like there should have been more stuff in space, not so much stuff in New Orleans, because they filmed it in New Orleans, and I'm like, this is not Coast City. But it is what it is, and as a result, the show ended.
All right, let's talk about Green Lantern, the animated series. It started off November 11th, 2011. 11/11/11.
Wow, I didn't know.
Yeah,
That's kind of awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
It
cool.
started in 11/11/11. It
Never
was
again.
It was computer animated, which was
Never again for the first time.
and was developed by Bruce Timm. Bruce Timm did it, and you could see
Who's that guy?
you could see the design.
Can I see his IMDb?
I wonder how involved he was with the design of the characters, because it looked very Bruce Timm-ish.
I would imagine he's very involved with
Yeah.
the design of the characters.
But
Paul Dini.
Huh?
Paul Dini wasn't part of it.
Paul Dini wasn't part of the show, no.
He wasn't part of the show. Yeah, probably.
Paul Dini started work on Ultimate Spider-Man around this time.
Oh yeah.
What a waste of time.
Anyways,
He started on that, but he also wrote the first 2 episodes of Young Justice, and Marvel called him up and was going, "What are you doing?" It's like, "Well, Young Justice was the comic that I wrote, and the cartoon show wanted me to write for them, so I did." And they're like, "No, you work for us."
No, you work for us now.
It's like
Well,
he
you
did
wrote
2
to us.
episodes and then was swatted on the hand and went back to Marvel.
All right, so this, I believe, is probably the best representation of Green Lantern I've seen since Justice League Unlimited, since the Bruce Timm universe, really. But for those of you who have not seen it, the Green Lantern series, the one thing I liked about the Green Lantern series, like the Batman the animated series, is they didn't explain the origin. It was just, he's a Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Yeah, well, I think they were banking on the fact that the movie came out earlier that summer, and so
Right.
they were kind of like, well, the story's been told, so let's not worry about it.
Right. And they already, they made reference to the fact that he got his ring from Abin Sur.
Yeah.
He trained with Sinestro.
Yeah.
All that stuff, but basically they're just like, you already know the story, we're just going to have fun now.
What I loved about it, too, and like I said, I had the blessing of being friends with one of the head writers and executive producers on the show, and when Jim told me about the show well in advance, he says it's going to be in the same animated style as Batman and Justice League and all that, Bruce Timm style. I was like, awesome.
Yes.
And he says it's going to be CG. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to feel about that. And then when I started seeing the designs, I said, okay, it's cool. And then he explained to me, he's like, it's going to be Hal and Kilowog as buddy cops driving around in a spaceship, stopping space crimes. And I kind of went, I was like...
Stopping space
and
crimes.
I said... But I was like... I
With
said,
their
Jim,
space cola and their space...
but I was like, Jim,
handcuffs.
why... But I said, Jim, why do they need a spaceship they can fly in space? And he says, well, it's to give them something to do, and the ship is to take them long-distance trips, like, light speed. And
Super light speed.
Super light speed in plaid.
In plaid.
Everything you described, you know that scene in Scott Pilgrim when the vegan police show up?
Yes.
I just pictured that with Hal Jordan and Kilowog. The way you just described that.
Where they high-five each other.
Yeah! Okay, let's...
That was probably the best role. What act? That was Thomas Jane. His best role ever. No,
Let's talk a little bit about the voice cast real quick.
Josh Keaton.
Josh Keaton as Hal Jordan. Kevin Michael Richardson, who's known for doing all...
Kilowog, yeah.
Kilowog. He did Kilowog. He's known for a lot of voices. He does Shredder now on Ninja Turtles. He also was the Joker
And he
in
was-
The Batman.
He was Bulkhead on Transformers Prime.
Yeah.
Great role.
Jason... I'm going to probably butcher this name. Sorry about that. Nah, I'm not even
Jason Statham.
S-P-I-S-A-K.
Matt Boyle.
Anyways,
Damon?
sorry if you're listening to this, which you're probably
just
not.
say it again for me.
S-P-I-S-A-K. Spigak? I don't know.
Show it to me.
Anyways.
Jason Spisak.
Spisak. Thank you.
You put a
I don't
T in
know.
there.
I don't know. I don't
There was
know what
no
I was saying.
T.
I don't know. He played Razor and Gray Delisle, who is now Gray Griffin.
Who is Aya? And Aya was
Aya's-
actually was Jim Krieg's creation.
Right.
He was telling me, it was like they were like, we need something to add to the show. He's like, well, we'll have like a robot lantern, and it's like, what if the robot lantern like had the hots for like the Red Lantern for Razor? And they were like, do it. And
Yeah,
they
and it
put it in
worked.
the show, and
It
it's like,
worked.
and they built on a relationship, and it really worked
Yeah.
well.
And
You got the feels throughout the
right,
show.
yeah, you did. And I have to say, this was actually the first time that the other colored lanterns, for those of you who don't know, there's more than just one colored lantern out there. There are several color, and they're each part of the emotional spectrum. There's
Sinestro Corps, which is yellow, which they were hinted at. They didn't
Right.
actually happen.
Right.
There
That's
was
fear.
the Indigo,
which is passion.
Compassion. There were the Red Lanterns were the main villains of season 1,
Which
and
is red.
they're Rage.
Right.
There's the only Orange Lantern, which is Larfleeze, and he's Avarice
Or
or
greed.
Greed.
Can I say one thing about Larfleeze real fast?
Right.
If you're going to read one thing Larfleeze, it's got to be they did a Christmas book.
Oh, we know
That's
about
like
the
a
Christmas
coloring
book.
activity book, and it's got recipes and stuff in it. I know this sounds ridiculous, but he finds out there's a Santa Claus, and that a guy comes and brings you whatever you want, and makes this ridiculously long list, and Santa doesn't show up. So then Larfleeze vows to hunt him down and kill him. It's the best single. Have you read it?
No, I
It's-
remember seeing it in the comic shop. I didn't read it though. but I thought
I've heard of it.
the
I've never
premise
actually
was
read
great.
it.
I try to give it one copy to a friend every year. I order it on because it's like $1 on like Midtown Comics.
Yeah.
No, MidtownComics.com. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. I want to join in.
Nice.
That's
I want to be
fine.
part
So,
of this.
wait, so
I just want to be part of this.
I need an adult. So it was red Rage, yellow Fear, orange Avarice, indigo was Compassion, violet or the Star Sapphires, they are Love,
Blue is hope.
blue is Hope, and of course Green Lanterns is Will.
And then
so
they only didn't. The
white. By the way, they didn't get to it, but White Lantern is for life. And they were hinted at the Black Lantern,
Yes.
which is for is death.
Yes, because
figure.
at the time the series.
You think they would switch it up? Black is life, white is death. Don't go near the white light. Don't go, Marianne.
Anyways.
Marianne, don't go near the white light.
Anyways, so thank you for the awkward silence. So yeah, I mean, they were hinting at it. In fact, I showed you guys a picture because I was watching the series before MegaCon. I showed you a picture of one of the characters had a Black Lantern book in their study.
I think it was the Guardian. One of the
Guardians, yeah, had a Black Lantern book. So I think they were setting up for that because the Blackest Night was, I believe, either happening or had already happened
In the
when it
comics
started?
it was already happening.
Okay. I think it was in the middle of it.
Also, as far as the voice actor is concerned, and this one I was excited about because again, it was one of those things where Jim told me like 4 or 6 months before it happened. He's like, "Don't tell anyone. Don't say anything for 4 to 6 months." And I was like, "Yeah, I hate it." Ron Perlman as Sinestro.
Yes, that was a perfect choice because I
One
have to say-
episode.
Ron Perlman,
the guy who canceled at that convention we went to that one time.
that one time at the convention when he canceled
Twice.
2 years in a row. Ron Perlman is
I
canceled.
thought you said it was 2
I
years
will
in
have
a
to.
row.
s-
It might be. You might have hit the hat trick this year.
Well,
That's why I'm like, who? Does he really exist? I don't think he exists.
I will have to say
Imaginary.
though.
He's
Ron-
a construct built in the Matrix.
Anyways, I will have to say Ron Perlman, my favorite voice that he did was Slade.
I
in
hope you
Teen
meet him
Titans.
someday.
I hope so. I hope so. He
No,
did,
it won't be in Orlando.
He did
You might have to
Slade-
go to his house.
That's right. He did Slade in Teen Titans.
That
which was awesome.
sounds not good.
No, that's a restraining order right there.
Find him in his own home. In the
But-
middle of the
I'm gonna
night.
make a Wheels Waldo book. It's just gonna be Ron.
Where's Hellboy?
Where's Ron Perlman? All right.
His little fist up in the air.
So, to kind of wrap this up, because I think we've talked pretty much about
Yeah.
all the stuff we need to talk to. I really think if you're any kind of fan of animation, I highly suggest Green Lantern, the animated series. It's only 26 episodes, but it's really good. It has 2 storylines because they did that whole, because that's that new thing where they do like half a season one storyline and half a season another storyline.
Yeah, it was set up like it was 2 seasons, but really altogether it was 1.
Right.
Hey, you want a paper rock scissors for this
Oh,
question?
no, I think it's good that you threw
one
out
thing,
there.
One thing for you though, by the way, guess who voiced Guy Gardner in the animated series?
Oh yeah, he was in it like 1 or 2 episodes. Right?
Yes, he was.
It was
I know who it is.
Yeah, you know who it is. I'll let you tell him.
who was it? That's not Troy Baker, is it?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't Troy Baker.
That's my answer for everything now.
Troy Baker. Is it Troy Baker?
Is Troy Baker here?
Who's Troy Baker?
He's starstruck, ladies and gentlemen.
No, Dietrich Balder.
Dietrich Bader, the voice of
Batman,
Brave the
Which
Bold.
I have to say, I like him better as Guy Gardner. He doesn't.
This podcast is over.
He
Shut off
did-
the lights.
He did. He
Frederick.
Did he
Turn it all off.
No, not Frederick. Go away.
Frederick,
no,
put that hamburger down.
he.
Why'd you get that out of the trash can, Frederick? What's wrong with you?
He
Take a
did-
shower.
okay, what
Put
were we
on
saying?
some
But-
Febreze.
He did a good Batman. Don't get me wrong. I liked him as Batman in Brave and Bold, but I really like him as Guy Gardner, and he actually reprised Guy in the Lego Batman movie that they just had recently.
the Bizarro League.
Yeah, the Bizarro League.
Yeah.
He played Guy Gardner in that too. So I really enjoyed him as Guy. I love that they set him up as like the Green Lantern. Like everyone had forgotten about Hal, and everyone knew who Guy Gardner was. And that just made Hal like really frustrated because like everyone's like, even the
This
Guardians,
is the way it should be.
even the Guardians of the Galaxy were like, "Hey, is that Guy Gardner?"
Wait, the Guardians of the Galaxy crossed over into Lego Batman 3 or
No,
something?
no. In the animated series, they set it up so like Hal was like,
Yes, you said Guardians of the Galaxy. That's a
I'm
Marvel
s-
property. That's
I'm
Disney.
sorry.
We have to go. Now we have to go back in time to the previous podcast.
"Sorry."
Imagine a crossover between Rocket Raccoon and Badge.
I'm
would be
bad. Shut up. Shut up.
Yeah.
All right.
No, okay.
This adventure's nuts. I got a
Go
quick
to your
question.
room.
I'm gonna throw this question out there.
Okay, go ahead.
There's been a lot. We've talked about a lot of Green Lantern in these series. Do you feel as though there's room for another Green Lantern series? Because I personally, I really think that I would like to see, knowing that you guys just dropped the. I haven't watched the newest series.
Green Lantern bomb.
And that the Yellow Lanterns weren't in it, and that
Right.
baffles me.
They were getting to it. They were gonna do
They
it.
they
I
were
would-
they were building it up.
I would hope that they would do like animated shorts, like the DC Nation shorts.
Well, they're
It's-
kinda-
unless it's stupid humor, they're not gonna do it because that's the selling.
right. Well, I heard that they were because the DC Direct were doing shorts for a while, and I heard that they're trying really hard to get that back. So that would
Green
be
Lantern, the animated series.
no,
No,
the
like shorts like Catwoman,
Shorts.
Jonah Hex.
I hope so. Those were
Yeah,
wonderful.
and
Yeah.
yeah, they're trying to bring those back, and yeah, I would totally love to see like maybe even come back to it. Who knows? But
I mean, I would love to see a digital comic that continues the story because they do that a lot of times when a show ends or whatever.
Well-
Like Smallville season 11. and
right.
things like
No,
that.
that would be awesome. But let me ask you guys a question. You probably know, you maybe not. Some of the characters I've heard have crossed over to the comics. Razor who was one of the Red Lanterns, he was actually a good guy. I heard that he was in the comics. Maybe, maybe not. Yes, no,
I don't know. I
Okay.
heard that from you, sir.
Okay,
So
I'm sorry.
I know that Aya showed up. I just mentioned it.
What's her name? Aya.
Aya.
I thought you were stuttering. You're
because-
like
let's-
Oh, you showed up in the anime.
Let's
That's it.
let's be frank.
Small-
The reason she's called Aya is because Hal says, instead of saying, because Kilowog tells him that it's an AI, and he says Aya, and he says no, it's not Aya, it's AI.
Hold on, Hal Jordan.
And
such
he's
a
like,
huckster.
Well, and he says no, Aya's a pretty name, and that's when he sets up the whole, she's a
Copy
girl.
that.
Yeah.
Aya shows up in Smallville season 11, the comic series, and she's not the main character in any of the stories that she's in, but she plays a significant enough role that she has lines of dialogue and whatnot, and she's just a cool character in the whole. Every time she shows up, she's just awesome. I think it's like 2 main stories that she's in, including the final story of that season.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. I'm glad I'm glad that they put something, because these characters were really, really cool. I liked Razor. I liked his story. I liked Aya. I liked her story. I really would love to see these characters again. And specifically since like characters like Batman Beyond, Terry McGinnis has been in there. Like Harley Quinn is now in the continuity.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn is deep.
Yeah,
Deep in the continuity.
Deep.
I'll tell you the one thing I would like to say. A lot of the side characters, and we were joking about this over the last couple of days, that we really like some of the Lanterns. And I just, in my mind, I can see, because in the comics right now, he knows where I'm going.
Yeah.
In the comics right now, the Red Guy Gardner's in charge of the Red Lanterns. But if
Oh,
I was
really?
to do a comic book team,
I think he's not anymore, but he was.
he
for like
was.
the past
He was
year
for a
or so,
while, yeah. So they could use him in the continuity with. I really want to see, like, Larfleeze, a standalone with him would be really fun.
Yes.
Me and Andrew's favorite Red Lantern. You want to say it?
Not Razor.
No.
No.
Daxstar.
Dexter.
Daxstar is the house cat that turns into a Red Lantern. If no one knows what I'm talking about, please look that up. It's actually the creator of the character. They had to make like 100 Red Lanterns in a night, and they were so tired.
The cat kept
kept bothering him.
His cat, whose name's Dexter, kept bothering
So
him.
he drew him into a panel as a Red Lantern, and now he's like one of the most popular Red Lantern characters on the market. I have an ink.
He's on the show. He's on Green Lantern animated series. He's in
Yes,
the
he
background
is.
at some point.
He's in the background at some point.
Yeah, I have that ink that Hunter did of
Rob Hunter. Yeah.
Rob Hunter did a ink that I got of Daxstar, which is absolutely amazing. So I want to see Daxstar. I want to see Larfleeze.
Just imagine a cutesy house cat really pissed off, spewing blood at you.
Plus, his
He can fly.
His ring is on his tail,
His-
which is genius. Anyways, we went. Was that off top? No, I think
That was pretty
that's
good.
square.
So is that
Pretty
someone
square.
you want to see in an animated series in the future? That's kind of what we want to ask.
I want to bring back Crypto as an animated, and have him fight Daxstar.
Crypto
Ace.
and Ace the Bat Hound versus
Yeah.
Dexstar.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
world's
Ace the Bat Hound's gonna get his head ripped off.
furriest.
World's oh my gosh.
Trademark. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't own the rights to
And
any
you know
of that.
that's goofy enough that Cartoon Network might just do it.
Yeah.
I think I would love to see something with Jade. Like I said, I really love that character. I think she'd make a great Green Lantern. I would love to see, and they're always going to do a Justice League kind of cartoon or Batman cartoon or Superman.
And they have, but
and they'll continue
But the
to do it.
problem is, every time you get any other character that's not Batman, Superman on a Justice League thing, even like Justice League War, they had those couple of yuck, rib, jab, funny moments between Flash and, because I'm a huge Flash fan.
Yeah.
With him in Lantern, but you never get the really serious lines or motivations from them. The only thing I remember of any Justice League War is when Hal Jordan's like, or Flash is like, "Oh, Batman's real,"
Yeah.
and Hal Jordan's like, "Yeah, he's over there." Like he like moves out of the frame and he points at him because that had a lot of Hal Jordan in it too. It was,
Yeah.
Justice League War.
Yeah, I really liked Hal Jordan. Besides the Green Lantern animated series, I liked him in what was it? Justice League. What was the one? That was the. What was the one that Batman? They stole the plans for Batman. Mirror Master stole the plans for
Justice
Batman.
League Doom.
Justice League Doom.
Yes, I really liked Hal's story in that. That was amazing. Yeah. It was.
We're just screwing with you behind your back.
Oh,
right
that's fine.
now.
That's fine. That's okay. I was wondering.
It's that
what was going
kind
on.
of night.
I just reenacted the entire scene.
Yeah.
Weird
I-
tails spinning into outer space.
Yeah, I think that was a really emotional scene. That was Nathan Fillion as well. Did the voice in that one. Yeah,
That was a great scene.
It was.
That really. But what do you guys want to see? I want to see more lanterns explored. I want to see Jon Stewart give more of a chance. I think there's a new lantern. She's powering, but I get the distinct feeling that Jeff Johns is writing her into the Justice League comic to eventually become the next Green Lantern. And I think her name is either Jennifer Cruz or Jessica Cruz.
You
Would-
have to read Justice League after
Would she be the first?
Forever Evil.
Would she be the first female Earth Lantern?
I am reading
Yes.
Justice League after.
Okay.
I'm further along in Justice League than you are.
Ooh. Is that a
No.
challenge accepted, sir? We shall travel around the world reading Justice League at every turn.
Why do we have to travel around the world? Why
Because it
can't we?
makes it more exciting.
That's true. It does.
All right, Jules Verne.
I agree. That makes it
Calm
more
down
exciting.
now.
I agree. It makes it more exciting. I'm just saying. But yeah, I mean, I would like to see. My only vote would probably be any of the characters from the animated series. Any of the main characters, I'd love to see again. I'm hoping maybe they bring them over to the comics after Convergence. I know you guys.
Yeah,
were
that'd be
talking
fun.
about that.
Sure, why not?
Seeing Aya, seeing Razor would probably be the best. Would be the one I would like to see. So
Absolutely, as a Blue Lantern.
yes, as a Blue Lantern. Yes, spoiler alert.
So,
All right. So I think that's it for our Green Lantern podcast. I want to thank you guys. So you guys want to go ahead and plug the 50
Of
now?
course we do.
No.
Go.
Not really.
Do it. Do it
not
now.
at all.
We are
Confused?
52 now on
bewildered?
iTunes, ZowieKapowie.wordpress.com. We're doing a bunch of new stuff on the site now with artists and a lot of local talent. And some really interesting. We've met really great people doing this, and
We
we're going to
have,
continue doing that. We're going to keep expanding our cast of people that join us and collaborate with
Our
other
cavalcade
other
of
podcasters
characters.
and everything else. Yes,
Something like
but
that.
We are. You can reach me podcast_Pasco on Twitter.
You can reach me at podcast_Pasco at Twitter.
We are going to get you a Twitter account.
And also, we do have a Facebook for Zowie Kapowie, which our producer Raygun manages for us. Thank you, God. So he can, you can send stuff to him, and he's at Zowie Kapowie on Facebook,
Yeah.
which is pretty awesome.
Awesome.
And then, of course, you can subscribe to us on iTunes.
iTunes.
We have a new episode a week right now. It's
It
kinda
is
awesome.
rated explicit, but we're not
We're
actually
not
explicit.
actually.
at all.
Not
You keep
actually
explaining
explicit.
that. Like the last couple of weeks, you're like, we are, but we're not.
But we're not.
We're not.
I remember talking to some 14-year-old kid a while back at the con, and he was talking. I got a YouTube channel. I was like, oh, that's cool, kid. Oh, we got this this iTunes thing. It's explicit, but tell your mom it's fine. You can listen in. But don't give me that look.
Don't give me that look. Don't.
I am all about giving discretion.
Anyways,
That's good. That's
52
fine.
now, Zowie Kapowie, iTunes.
Yay.
Download it, stream it.
All
Whatever.
right. Well, just want to thank you guys so much for joining us. I think this was a really good podcast. I'm really glad we got to talk about it. I don't know what our next episode is going to be, folks. So keep tuned out there to Facebook and Twitter. We'll be probably announcing what the next episode will be. And but thank you guys for joining us tonight. And
you for
I'll
having
have
us.
No problem.
Thank you.
And I'll have Frederick go ahead and tell all the information on how you guys can get us. So
I like that, Frederick. He
yeah.
he smells lovely.
Yeah, I
Smells
sorry.
like the back of a McDonald's.
Yeah, it's probably because he's been there. Anyways, so for us, all of us here at Cartoon Connoisseur Theater, this is Joshua saying, good night, everybody.
Yes, so thank you, UberNerd527. If you enjoyed this jolly banter and just willy-nilly things that just happened, then please go to iTunes and give us a review. 5 stars or more would be wonderful. Whatever or however you do that, I am sure you can. Anyways, if you like this silliness, then please go to the Arcade Archives website, arcadearchives.wordpress.com, and see all the jolly, wonderful, crazy people that are on there as well. You can also follow us at facebook.com/TalesFromTheGameGrid, or follow us on Twitter at TalesFTGameGrid. Thank you so ever so much for joining us here on the Cartoon Connoisseur Theater podcast. And now I am going to eat a large meal. Good night.
Thank you for joining us for this Arcade Archives Network video. If you like this, please make sure to subscribe to this channel and leave comments below. If you would like more, please go to thearcadearchives.com or ZowieKerpowie.com. Thank you so much once again for joining us for this Arcade Archives Network video, and don't forget to keep playing like it's 1981.
Message from headquarters. This is a Rebellion production and is part of the Arcade Archives Network. That is all.